Hello, everybody. This is José Ignacio from the Uncomfortable Dialogues 2022.
I am honored to have Linsey Lindberg with us today. Linsey is a very strong leader. Actually, more than that, she's a superhuman. I will share with you just 3 of her many achievements so that you will understand why I say that she's a superhuman. Number 1, Linsey is featured on the cover of the Guinness Book of World Records, Superhumans Edition 2016. Number 2, Linsey holds 5 Guinness Book of World Records. Number 3, Linsey was named to Moore Magazine 2012 inaugural Fierce list, sharing the honor alongside with former First Lady Michelle Obama, Lady Gaga, and Oprah. Honestly, she inspires audiences to believe in themselves and that anything is possible. She's the founder of Artisan Oddities Entertainment here in San Antonio. She has received several awards and recognitions, including the 2015 Texas Stars Award for Best Entertainment in Texas. She has also produced shows for SpaceX and NCAA. Without any further ado, welcome to our virtual studio, Linsey. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing super well. It's a gorgeous day, and that's why we live in Texas, so that we have gorgeous days even in February.
Exactly. It doesn't look like winter time most of the time.
No, it's pretty wonderful. So yes, having a great day.
Hey, Linsey, for a superhuman like yourself, how did you do during the most critical moments of 2020 and 21? Business as usual?
It has been definitely a very rocky adventure for this pandemic. So I am the owner of Artisan Oddities Entertainment, which is an entertainment company. We do large scale live events. We do things for the convention centers, for large festivals. Most everything has to do with people gathering. We were one of the businesses that was extremely impacted, going from 100% down to zero overnight. So the fact that we're still standing, and actually this week I hired 2 new people and we're going to be fully staffed up. So it's amazing to be on the other side training people and to have a book full of contracts again.
Linsey, congratulations for a quick turnaround. Now, can you tell us more about when the crisis hit hard, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, when it first happened, I brought my entire team together and we sat down for a lunch and we just brainstormed. I mean, we knew that this was not going to be good. I had the foresight to believe that I needed to look backwards. I did a lot of listening and studying on the bird flu of 1918. And from that, I learned that it was going to probably take about 3 years to run its course, modern medicine or no. So I really started strategically planning that it was going to take a minimum of 2 years to get to the end of this. So immediately, my team and I just started looking at what are the skills that we can offer in new and fresh ways. You know, just because live entertainment can't get together doesn't mean that we don't have materials in our shop that maybe can be used in creative ways, or maybe we can put our skills to use in different formats. And so that was the first thing we did, was come together as a team, try to make a fresh new plan. Well, the new plan did work. So we ended up going to virtual, and I worked my butt off to just get up a whole new mode of what we do. You know, I started reaching out and found artists that I love working with all over the world. It was really cool because all of a sudden, what used to be a business that was about, because in live events, it's about who can show up, who is at the party. And all of a sudden it was global. And so I started expanding my thinking and going, you know, sure, it's different, but now it's different. I don't have to play by the same rules. And I brought all of these wonderful talent together under one virtual roof. And ironically, started pushing forward our original plan, which was always to expand to more of a national or global market. So pivoting in the way that we did, and as quick as we did, and as successfully as we did, really helped get our brand name out and did a lot of the legwork for where we see ourselves going in the future.
Wow, this is interesting. So in a way, the crisis really forced you to think globally, or at least to think differently. And the business model you have now is probably very different than the one you had before.
The other thing that I did in order to just survive the crisis was I said to myself, well, if this is going to last 3 years, maybe even 5 years. So I started thinking to myself, well, I'm a single lady and I'm a homeowner. What am I going to do to make sure that I don't lose what I've built? And so I started again getting creative. What are my skills? What am I interested in? Just because you excel at one thing doesn't mean that has to be the only thing that you're good at or that you're known for or that you have the capability of growing into. I started a podcast. And the podcast I ended up finding a sponsor for and decided that the podcast should be about business owners in Texas who are working hard to survive the pandemic economy. And I really, truly believe that if we lean on each other and if we start to understand and we can learn from each other's lessons and each other's moments of bravery or ingenuity in how we're marketing, that we can all come through this Texas strong.
So, Linsey, we cannot have any conversation with you without not talking about Mama Lu.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you hold Guinness World Records with physical feats of strength, such as tearing a phone book or rolling frying pans or even crushing apples with your biceps, which is really awesome. Tell us more about Mama Lu.
Mama is all about the power of the feminine, because women are capable of amazing things when we tap into that divine feminine. And Lou was what my mom called me as a nickname when I was a little girl. So it really is that combination of all the women in my life and all of that girl power coming together. And what was really incredible was that while I started by doing feats of strength that I thought were just curiosities. I thought they were interesting enough to get people to stop and watch. But what I realized as I got deeper into this performance and this character was actually that what I was selling people was belief in themselves, was accomplishing the impossible, was about girl power, about small packages being able to accomplish great things. And so it was a message of empowerment, and it was extremely needed. And that was probably the most fulfilling thing, was realizing that by following my own heart and my own path and being willing to say no to options and no to limits and no to having to follow any prescribed path, that I found something that was just so rich. It was a diamond mine of love and generosity that I got to give to other people. But then by watching them receive it, it really gave it back to me as well. What I've realized in my life is that I'm not just a strong woman in the one way. I'm not just a strong woman because I can break things. I'm not just a strong woman because I can inspire others. Sure. I'm strong in so many ways. And being able to survive this pandemic with my business whole, being able to be a successful female entrepreneur, I can see my strength coming out in ways I never even imagined.
So I have a final question for you. And what does leadership facing adversity mean to you?
Leadership facing adversity. I'd say one thing I noticed, and this was a journal entry that I made during the pandemic, was that I realized that good leaders are not just good leaders on the good days. You're not fantastic if when everything's rosy and your books are high and your profit's high, that you're a fantastic leader. What makes you a fantastic leader is if you can keep that perseverance and that hope and that kindness to others and to your team when things are hard. And that's when I realized that the pandemic was my opportunity to see what I was made of and to see what my grit and determination was. Because if I folded and failed during the pandemic, I was never a great leader.
Excellent. Phenomenal discussion, Linsey. Thank you very much for your time. And for everybody else watching this webcast, if you happen to have any question to Linsey or Mama Lu, just write it down here in YouTube and LinkedIn, and we'll get back to you.
Thanks for having me.